A doctor walks into retirement after 30 years of practicing medicine. $300,000 a year for 3 decades, $9 million in gross earnings. And they're stressed about money. This isn't a rare story. Thomas Stanley spent 20 years interviewing high-income Americans, doctors, lawyers, executives, tracking the gap between what they earned and what they actually capped. His finding was uncomfortable. Income explains only 30% of the variation in wealth. 30%. So if you're working hard, earning well, and still feeling stuck, the other 70% of your problem has nothing to do with your paycheck. It has to do with 6 specific mistakes that intelligent people make precisely because they're intelligent. Mistake 1. Believing you can outsmart the market. Be honest with yourself for a second. When you watch the news and see a stock moving, do you feel like you have a read on it? Like you understand what's happening better than the average person? Most smart people do. And that feeling is expensive. Dalbar has tracked actual investor behavior since 1985. Not what people say they do, what they actually do with their money. Their data across 30 years is consistent and brutal. The average equity investor underperforms the S&P 500 by roughly 1.5 to 2% every single year. That gap doesn't sound catastrophic until you compound it. On a $200,000 portfolio over 30 years, the difference between an 8% market return and a 6% investor return, the actual math is over $860,000 in lost returns. Not from picking bad stocks, from behavior. Selling before rallies, buying after peaks, moving money when the headlines got scary. In 2024, while the S&P 500 was quietly marching toward a 25% gain, retail investors were pulling billions out of equity funds out of fear. Dalbar confirmed the average equity investor's actual return that year was only 16.5%. The people who missed those gains weren't uninformed. They were paying close attention. They saw the uncertainty, made a logical call, and the market moved without them. Intelligence doesn't protect you from this. It makes it worse. Because the smarter you are, the more confident you are in your read, and the more moves you make, the more ground you lose. Mistake 2. Spending money to look like what you earn. When you got your last promotion, honest answer, what changed first? Your investment account or your lifestyle? Stanley's research identified a specific type of person he called the under-accumulator of wealth, not low earners, the opposite. High-income professionals, doctors, lawyers, executives who earn significantly above average, but whose net worth doesn't reflect it. The pattern was consistent. Every time income went up, spending matched it immediately. Bigger house, better car, upgraded everything. And part of it wasn't even vanity. It was professional armor. A corporate attorney showing up to client meetings in a 10-year-old car feels like a liability. A surgeon whose home doesn't reflect their title creates cognitive dissonance with their identity. So the spending isn't just lifestyle, it's a performance that comes with the job. But here's what Stanley's data showed about the people who actually built real wealth. They lived in homes worth less than their total net worth. They drove unremarkable cars. They didn't look rich. That was the point. Because lifestyle spending has a ratchet effect nobody warns you about. It adjusts upward the moment income rises. It almost never adjusts back down. Every raise feels like permission to spend, but really, it's just a new floor you've permanently set for yourself. Mistake 3. Optimizing small things while ignoring large ones. This is the one I think will make a lot of people quietly pause and check something tonight. Smart people love finding the best deal, the highest savings rate, the credit card with the best cashback. Nothing wrong with that instinct. The problem is where that mental energy gets directed. Most people spend more time researching a $700 appliance purchase than they've ever spent looking at the expense ratio on their 401k funds. The appliance decision might save them $40. The 401k decision is worth over $350,000. Here's the verified math. The difference between a fund charging 1% annually and one charging 0.03%, which is what Vanguard charges on its total market index fund, on a $200,000 portfolio over 30 years at 7% growth is over $350,000. Not because the cheaper fund performed better, just because it charged less. That money didn't disappear. It transferred, quietly, annually, without a single invoice from your retirement account to the fund company. And most people carefully optimizing their grocery runs and credit card rewards have no idea it's happening. Mistake 4. Waiting for certainty before acting. Here's how this one plays out in real life. The market looks uncertain. There's geopolitical tension. The Fed is sending mixed signals. An election is coming. So you wait. You'll invest when things settle down, when there's more clarity, when the picture is cleaner. In 2024, while the S&P 500 was marching toward a 25% annual gain, investors pulled money out of equity funds in every single quarter. Not one quarter, every quarter. The largest outflows happened right before the market's strongest surges. And Vanguard's research shows what that costs over time. Missing just 10 specific trading days in a 20-year period cuts your total return roughly in half. 10 days out of roughly 5,000 trading sessions. You can't predict which 10. No analysis will tell you. The people who missed them weren't careless. They were careful. They were waiting for a better moment that the market never announced. The market doesn't wait for clarity. It moves. And the cost of waiting for certainty is paid in returns you never see. Mistake 5. Using income as the destination instead of the vehicle. Ask yourself honestly, if your income stopped completely tomorrow, how many months could your current lifestyle run on what you actually own? Not your salary, what you own. Stanley found that a massive portion of high-income earners, the ones he specifically classified as under-accumulators of wealth, had less than $60,000 in liquid investable assets despite their massive salaries. These aren't irresponsible people. They're people who treated income as the goal. Get the salary higher, get the bonus bigger, earn more. But income is a flow. It comes in, goes out, and requires you present every single month. Assets are different. They accumulate. They compound. They don't need you there to work. The shift from optimizing income to building assets is the single biggest difference between people who feel financially free and people who feel trapped. Look at the data. Self-employed business owners make up less than 20% of American workers, yet they account for 2/3 of American millionaires. Why? Because salary is capped by time. Ownership compounds without you. Mistake 6. Treating a math problem like a motivation problem. This last one costs people the most, not in dollars, but in years. Most intelligent, hardworking Americans who feel behind financially carry a quiet belief that they just need to try harder, be more disciplined, cut more, want it more. And that belief sits as low-level guilt that never fully goes away. But look at what the actual numbers show. Around 30% of Americans earning over $150,000 a year report living paycheck to paycheck, according to Lending Club and PIY-MNTS research. These are not undisciplined people. They're high earners whose lifestyle scaled with every income increase, whose 401k is quietly underperforming because of fees they've never examined, who've been waiting for the right moment to invest while the market compounded without them. None of that is a character issue. It's a math problem. And math problems don't need motivation. They need clarity. Clarity on which decisions actually move the needle. The expense ratio, the asset versus income distinction, the cost of waiting, and which decisions feel productive but aren't. The people Stanley studied who built real wealth didn't have more discipline than everyone else. They just looked at different numbers. 6 mistakes. all documented, all fixable. Outsmarting a market that punishes movement, not ignorance. Spending to perform a lifestyle instead of building past it. Optimizing $40 problems while $350,000 ones go untouched. Waiting for certainty in a market that never offers it. Chasing income when assets are the actual vehicle. And grinding harder at a math problem that doesn't need effort, it needs understanding. You don't need more motivation. You need better math.